All right, guys. So I wasn't able to do a video yesterday. I may end up telling you what I would have said, but that doesn't really matter because tomorrow we have NFP, which is huge. Although maybe today was big enough, right? We had the ECB cut rates, so everything went up. That because I think people took that as an indication of what to expect from the Fed, maybe an indication of what to expect from NFP. Maybe they leaked it. I don't know. Uh, I Well, all that matters is the chart and what actually moves. How the market moves. So when it comes to the DXY, by the way, we also have European elections on Saturday. Maybe some right wingers take over. That'd be good. More right wing representation in the European parliaments. I don't know how much traders care about that, especially tomorrow. Maybe on Monday, the European markets with I don't know. That's probably not that much. But NFP was big and ECB rate cut was pretty big, pretty damn big. So what do we have? We've had the dollar flush this ascending, which is the weakest chart pattern. It closed here, which is ugly. It's normal to have a small bounce. It was expected, but I still think we're going to flush. And to be honest, prior support, which is the ascending, became resistance perfectly. And here we closed again at the low 104. So normally, now if there was no NFP tomorrow, I would just say we're flushing, but you never know with NFP. And to be honest, mark my words, whatever happens, whatever the number is, there'll be a reaction one way, like down or up, and it'll be swung the other way. So I'll give it like a couple of, I would even say more than an hour until you're pretty sure which way the direction is. But we're not really trading this. We're kind of positioning in long-term. I am anyway, in long-term investment. So DXY actually has been quite relevant, and it still is overall. But this, if we flush 104, we're going down to 102.5, maybe even lower. And then we're going to be on the more medium term or even longer term ascending, which is the weakest chart pattern. So, and I've already said this before, we go down here, whatever, small bounce. Once you're here, you'll probably end up doing something like this. Oh, where's resistance? But then, you're going to flush, and that's when you're starting to hit the 100, and then it looks really bad. Then you bounce and then you flush, like flushing 100 convincingly would change everything. And to be honest, we've been going up with the dollar going up in gold and silver. So imagine when the dollar going down, that'll be like 3,000 plus or something. So I just wanted to mention that DXY, again, I don't care too much about it, but it is quite low. Yields also don't care too much about it. But look at this. Just days ago, I was thinking we're going to breach, especially on the 2 year, but they've all just gone down, 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 down. By the way, we should bounce now the 2 years here. Like, yes, the 30 has flushed its support ascending, and that's quite impressive to not even bounce once. That's not what I would have expected. 10-year did the same thing. They all did the same thing. But when you get to the 2 year, I kind of expect to bounce. But then again, NFP tomorrow. So it's pretty, on the 2 year and the DXY, you are seriously at some support where you should bounce. But if you flush, you've kind of lost your last, or for the 2 years, not your last line of support, but a pretty critical one for a bullish breakout. So pretty bearish stuff. Let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Right, let's move straight to gold and silver. So we've had some week, like yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was a weak day for, sorry, the day before yesterday was very weak for the miners. But then we had this nice move up. Right, like yesterday was a small bounce. It wasn't up, like you paired half your losses. This is what I would have said yesterday, by the way. Like, let's look at the minus straight away. No offense. So Tuesday, you come down, it looks horrible. It was like a minus 4 or 5% day across the board, right? Big losses. I think I even did a video then. But the next day, the next day, we bounced. Now, we bounced, like for me, half the losses were made back. Because although these candles look good, where did you close on Monday? You closed there, so you opened there. So you basically were still down 2% from where you were on Monday. Today, we've made it all back, pretty much made it all back. And actually looks more bullish now than it did before the drop. So I have skipped there to the minus. The point is, gold on Wednesday closed quite well. If you look at the miners on Wednesday, didn't close as well. So, gold was outperforming And more importantly, gold looked quite good yesterday. So today, the fact that we broke out of this range, this 2363 high, like we did it early on, and then we kind of gave it back. But after the news, the ECB rate cut, like we did basically break out of this little narrow range, but I'm going to call it 2316 and the 2315 to 2363. So basically $50 range. We broke out of that today, closed above it. But even yesterday, that was a pretty good close. Like that's the best close since all the way back here. So although the miners, I think this is what I was trying to say, but I didn't say it quite clearly. Although the miners went up on Wednesday, they were nowhere near as strong as gold was indicating on Wednesday. Look at gold. So basically gold outperformed, but I'm not talking about on a percentage basis. I mean on a chart basis, it just looked so, not so strong, but strong enough to break out, which we did today. So gold looks really good now. The thing is we have NFP. If NFP just rains on our parade, we go all the way back down, probably down to 2315. Who knows? The chart will look quite bad at that point. Plus, it's a weekly chart because it's Friday. We might have to go down here. But if in the end, remember, it's not the initial swing. If in the end by Friday we're up, I mean, it's quite simple. We're going to test the old highs, and to be honest, we'll probably break it because that would have been another higher low, right? You got this high low, you got that higher low, this is a higher high, this is a higher high. So we're going to go, well, you know what I mean? We're going to go up here at least, and then probably higher. So gold looks ready for breakout. The dollar looks for breakdown. Yields look for breakdown, but we're at critical support. So who knows? Let's just see what happens. But if we go up, we are set for new highs. Silver, look at this Wednesday. We kind of just closed at prior support, which is $30. $30 was support. It becomes resistance. And today it could have just gone anyway. It just screams up 4.5%, close a higher day. And look, tomorrow, if we go up, if the metals go up after NFP, we're making new highs tomorrow. And that's going to be a weekly. Look at that weekly candle, right? Imagine where you touch this low here and you close at a new all-time high. I mean, that is the most bullish candle you can ever come up with, which suggests silver, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but silver will just next week, I don't know, 36, 34, 36. Imagine the miners. Let's look at the miners. The miners, look at that pretty candle there. Let's go to the daily. If the miners have an update tomorrow after NFP, I mean, the first resistance is going to be this zone here. That'll be easy because that's not much, is it? That's just, yeah, that's nothing. You're going to go straight up. You're basically going to close it. Yeah, you're going to close up here, probably at new all-time highs, if you know what I mean by new all-time highs of this entire local area. And then the weekly chart is just going to look as good as the silver one, just a huge, this wick all the way down here, and then a new all-time high close. It's exceptional. It's like as good as it gets. SILJ will have a nice blue candle all the way up there too, because it's going to be the same percentage moves. GDX there's not even any point looking at GDX. So they're all going to look absolutely exceptional. The only thing is, if we have a down day, the last support that we bounced off across the board from the miners to the gold to silver, we're going to test them, and it may next week go lower, but we've seen how resilient this market is, how much of a dip buying market it is, which we're not used to, right? It was two scenarios. Either we're going to come all the way down here, or it's going to be a shallow dip and up we go. And so far, shallow dip, that even caught me off guard. I mean, I really did think that it was going to be a shallow dip. I obviously was ready for a lower dip, but I did constantly say, this is probably going to be a shallow dip market because we're in a new bull market, and it caught me by surprise. I didn't expect such a violent bounce. So it looks amazing. Now, let me not repeat myself too much. I'll quickly go through the miners. Newmont, bam, look at that, close a high day, incredible, back into the ascending. The ascending doesn't really matter that much. I'll delete the ascending on the weekend, but back into the ascending. This, remember, we had nice news, gap up. We basically went all the way back down. Okay, we didn't close the gap because, again, the bounce is very strong, but all the way back down to sort of not pre-good news because the gap hasn't been filled, but you know, you were able to buy all the way back down here. So this should be a candidate for a move back up. Not only is it the biggest stock, but it's massively underpriced and it's just had good news. So this is destined for a move up. This will lead the way for the seniors. Barrick Gold, you know, hasn't actually gone up even as much as Newmont. This is probably the cheapest senior. So nice bounce, really. This big moves all the way back up here. Exceptional stuff. This one probably is going to move more than Newmont. Again, I can get some of these. I'll get into them during the weekend. Agnico Eagle, you can always count on that moving. Actually outperformed the other two. Just great stuff. New highs again, just like everything else. If we have good news, you can expect it testing its 71.5, 72 levels by the close on Friday tomorrow. Pan American Silver, very nice, 5%. Basically, one good candle away from new all-time highs, like everything else. Perfect. SSRM, this is the one which was tricky. I did say if we flush, and I was thinking we are going to flush, and we did flush, I wouldn't know where support is. I thought maybe here, 450. And if we kept going down, definitely we would have got to the 450 level. But look at that bounce, it's pretty good because we gave back quite a lot of the bounce on both days, especially there Wednesday, yesterday. But today we gave back some of it. I remember like during the morning. Where am I thinking? Oh, we gave back some, not too much. Maybe I'm confused. Well, anyway, the point is very nice close, very nice close. And now we've reclaimed the sort of 520 levels, which is where we were before. So it's back into that new level. So continuation. I don't think tomorrow, even on a really good reaction, that it can get all the way back up to its old highs of basically testing 6. But still, maybe 560s would be good enough because then you start to encounter this descending. So maybe soon, especially next week, if we have a good bullish move in the metals, then next week SSRM can start taking out and moving above 6. I don't expect that tomorrow. Wheaton, bang, close a high of day, moved up. Looks good. Looks good for a move higher. By the way, I added to Wheaton not today near the high of day. I think I just got excited. I looked at NFP. I said, let's just gamble, whatever. Let's just go in heavier. I'm so heavy into the mines. I've never been heavier, and this is at all time kind of highs. I never do this, but Wheaton, Franco-Nevada, and Equinox I added to today, and First Majestic. It was 4 of them. So I'm saying that now because Wheaton's the first one. This one, I mean, I never would normally buy it. It's just Wheaton. If silver keeps going up, should make a lot of money. And it wasn't worth as much as the seniors. If you remember me saying, these guys are worth basically 6K each, and Wheaton was like 4.5. So I just pumped it up to 5. Franco-Nevada did the same thing. That closed a high of day. Forgot where it was. Pretty close to where it is actually. Yeah. So Franco-Nevada should, I mean, great business, just nowhere near its highs. And I just feel like if silver, gold keep going up, this has to test, 150s. This actually is a really good candle for Franco-Nevada. It's quite rare that it does such a big day. Tomorrow, I don't know if it can test the highs. Maybe. Why not? It had such a good day. Metalla, that was quite good, 4.5%. This one wants to go up. So Friday, a nice test of 340. Next week, we reach and finally run to 4. Definitely possible. This wants to go up. It wants to go up. First Majestic, not the strongest chart. I bought it just because it's not worth as much as the others. I just wanted to pump it up to the 4K level, actually. Not worth as much as the others, not the strongest chart. But now it is. Now it's worth 4K, which is the minimum I want for my sort of aggressive silvers. I just feel like if silver keeps going, which I do think it's going to happen, this is going to have a violent catch up one of these kind of days. I know it had bad news, but I'm sorry. In the grand scheme of things, this needs to be higher no matter how bad some of the news was. Next one, Fortuna. Now, this one got smashed in the face. It found support where I thought it would. It dipped a little lower, a couple of cents below. I didn't buy this. Can you believe it? It's because it was the day where everything was getting smashed in the face. Was it? Or was it the day after? I think it was the day after, actually. But I thought, okay, let it settle. Let's not go in and buy. It was very frustrating because I wanted to nibble out more than I'd done. I nibbled a tiny bit, but I wanted to nibble more. for sure. So that was really frustrating seeing that. The bounce today is okay. You know, if we have a good day tomorrow, probably gap fill 585. But the thing is, then you're set up for a continuation next week. So normally I would sell the gap fill. I might even trim a small amount, but I feel like this has to go upwards still because next week we're going to have 33, 34, 35, 36, possibly in silver. We could have a silver squeeze next week if we have positive results, reaction to NFP. So even Fortuna after bad news might not be worth selling too much too early. CDE, beautiful. This is waiting to close above 6, and this is going to be a screamer if NFP is friendly to gold and silver prices tomorrow. Can you imagine? This will just be like 650. This is like 10% guaranteed tomorrow, and then by next week, basically 750. I know that sounds crazy, but that is how friendly CDE is. I could expect 25% move in the next 7 business days if gold and silver react well to NFP. So this one, I love it. I did trim it though a few days, like 2 days ago or something, in fear of having too much, but it was like a 10% trim, so it's okay. EXK, oh sorry, Heckler, which I don't own. Yeah, nice, not as strong as CDE, nice. Just one big day away from testing its 620 zone. How much moves that? 6%. Yeah, okay, so that won't make a new high tomorrow. I keep thinking that it's going to be a good day for gold and silver. It could absolutely reverse. And remember, if it does, we're testing the lows we did 2 days ago. It's straight away we're down here, and then you're testing ascending, and then next week maybe flush. And that goes for most of the others. Otherwise, you'll wander away from testing the highs. You're really in the middle of testing the highs or testing the lows, the local high, the local lows, and that's across the board. EXK, same thing, one day away from 420. This will probably make new highs tomorrow if it's a good day. Next up is 450 easily. This has just been on a tear, and why would that trend change? If we flush, we go back to 360s, and then next week gap fill maybe here before a bounce. Mag Silver, yeah, the ascending held. This is done. One day away from the highs, 1430. Otherwise, back down here, 1265, and then flush. Well, this should be strong. This is actually performing quite well, which is why I added to it recently, including yesterday. Now, this is finally worth the same as the other silvers, 4K. This used to be worth like 2 or something. I used to hate it and not have too much worth down here. I remember that, but now it's worth a lot more, and I think it deserves a seat at the table. But there are a lot of chairs. I got about 20 stocks, so I'm done adding new stocks. I am, no, sorry, ARMN, Aris Mining came down like everything else, but it has a tendency of going back up. I think tomorrow we can test, but I don't think we'll close above it. If we go down, we go down to the 390 level, maybe even tomorrow. Sorry, I am gold. This one a bit like Fortuna, you know, just had bad news, has a gap to fill. I think we're going to have a bit of resistance here at 416, even if we have good news tomorrow. That's not a big move, but I think it's a big resistance. It's quite a big move, 5%. And it's just come back from bad news. So it might even be worth trimming this one because even next week, we'll have a hard time even filling the gap, I feel. So this one, I expect a lot of resistance, more than Fortuna, because if silver squeezes, then Fortuna has to participate in the squeeze. But I am gold, I don't think is as explosive a mover. So I'd expect a lot of resistance in this one. B2 gold. Well, this is just a slow mover, but I placed my bets in this. I think 2 are pretty much at my average. Yeah, this is a long-term one. So if we go up, then we'll probably test the 290. However, we are so close to a massive medium-term descending breakout. So if there's continuation in gold and silver next week, it'll finally start crossing and closing above 3 and then running. Maybe even a bit faster than it usually does, all the way up to 340. Equinox, this one. Did I have that today? I think I did. Yes, I did. Sorry, Equinox. It was Wheaton, Franco-Nevada, Equinox, and First Majestic. Close a high day. That's good. I bought it like 551 or something. I didn't really care. I'm going for basically tomorrow. All right, if we have a good day, we're probably testing 580, maybe even 59. I just feel like this one wants to go up. And then next week, the continuation, you close above 590, that's it. I'm sorry, you're going to 650. Oh, I never talk about what happens if we go down. If we go down, we're going to test 520. And then there'll be a little continuation next week, so maybe $5. But what a buy. I have a feeling Equinox is a dip buy. It's going to be lots of wicks. SPSW, I think it's at a low, but I'm just scared to buy it. It's just too risky. So I've got a certain amount, and to be honest, the amount that I have just covers this entire range. So I'm not going to care unless it breaks out of or breaks down below this. If it breaks out, I'll be looking to trim, but just obviously it's going to go way higher. So I might not even trim here. I should probably start at $8 or just below. High amounts like 3% or something. If it breaks down below 4, I will maybe buy smaller amounts on the way down. So I separate this from all the others. All right, that'll do. I hope I didn't repeat myself too much there at the beginning, but it all depends on NFP. So let's see what happens. Otherwise, look forward to the portfolio update during the weekend. Good luck to all of us.